Snap keeping this. We have two Flagstones and 2 Wildfires. How could we ever lose? And a Shatterskull smashing to just like sink all this mana into against the Elvish Mystic deck. This does look like Elves, which is historically a good matchup for Jeskai. Yeah, I like weddings. I don't think I responded to any of the wedding comments yet, but I like weddings. And I'm going, it's going to be weird. I haven't been to one during COVID yet. But I hope to have a good time. They've had a good start. They definitely had a good start. All of my sweepers are on the sideboard. Maybe we should be main decking a couple copies. They've had a really, really good start. Jeez. Dead. Down to 4. Not dead, though. Not quite dead. They do get to activate their Clan Caller if they want to. Turn 3, Cryptic Command. Losing to Throne of the God Pharaoh would be pretty cool here. I agree. Jeez. Don't think we have outs. But I think things are going to get, really good post-board. So bring in the sweepers and the gusts, and probably just that. I feel like the wildfires aren't great, but they are going to be, I think, solid if we're targeting flagstones. And maybe I'll play like 1 Force of Negation instead of the 4th wildfire, kind of like that. Yeah, bringing in Wrath is smart. This hand has a Supreme Verdict, so I'm going to keep... Hey, El Marto. I think this game is going to go pretty differently, if I had to guess. I mean, maybe we just never find a 4th land, and I lean too hard on the Supreme Verdict. If they play Divinion's Elite, I'll just Helix the Druid in response. Jeskai control versus Elves. Feels like I'm back in 2015. Modern is a wheel. It's very cyclical. Has Shatterskull been good and bad in any games? It has been both. It has been both good and bad in different situations. The jury is still out. I thought it could go face when I put it in the deck. It cannot go face. But it's been pretty good a couple times, and there was one time we're playing against 2 Scourges, and it being a bolt land mattered a lot, but we still won that game. So I think I like it. I want to be in between 23 and 24 lands. I'm just gonna Helix the Archdruid here. I want to be in between 23 and 24 lands, and so I was playing a Ghost Quarter in that spot. You can maybe play Field of Ruin. You can maybe play a second Mystic Sanctuary. You can do a lot of different things, but the Shatterskull has been fine too. It seems more playable than the other 2 Bolt lands. I agree. I especially think that you don't want to play the white Bolt land in this deck. Opponent has revealed Azuri Renegade Leader. I think I'm just pathing it. Maybe I'll gust. Yeah, I should gust. If I was going to gust, I should have gusted on the stack, but we're here now. This is the world we live in. Yep. Okay, I like Teferi plus bounce Azuri here. Should have gusted that on the stack. Got failed for no reason. Okay. So we can path the Heritage Druid if we want to keep Teferi around, and I feel like with Supreme Verdict in our hand and stopping Veil of Summers in response, that doesn't sound too bad to me. Although I suppose Azuri is pretty good against Supreme Verdict, so maybe we just need to path that instead. 7 mana, yeah, 7 mana draw 1, not all that good. If it was like, even if it was like 6 mana, maybe you could play it. Any merit to shuffling away Azuri with path? Azuri did not go to the top of their library. It stayed in their hand. This deck has been good, Darius. I've played this deck a lot. I have a really solid record with it. We're 8-2 today. We were 21-6 last week, and I think we were 21-6 last week, 8-2 today, and then I think we were 10-5 on Tuesday. Yeah, thanks, Mikey. Very helpful. I'm just gonna let the Teferi die. Yeah, Elves is a sweet deck. I have played a lot. Elves was my very first modern deck ever, even. Maybe I wanted to get double blue or triple blue for Cryptic. But I also wanted double red for the Anger of the Gods that's in our deck. I think this is the first time I really have wanted a second Triome in the deck. So do with that information what you will. Lead the Stampede to reveal Heritage Druid? F in the chat. Poor Elf. Our opponent does not deserve that. They deserve better. They deserve much better than that. You just like the Sacred Foundry? I think the Sacred Foundry is necessary. But I understand the critique, of course. I think I'm going to Gust the Heritage Druid here. I don't want them to be able to get the mana, and we have Path to deal with Azuri. Do we play any Steam Vents? Yeah, I've got Steam Vents. Yeah, I guess we should just have Steam Vents instead. Ended up being fine. So we can instant speed Snap Verdict if we want to. We can do that end of turn. Didn't I say Gust the Heritage? Oh, I did mean to Gust the Heritage. I think this is fine too. But that is what I meant to do. Whoops. Azuri, of course, protects from verdicts. So maybe I'll just like counter tap. Yeah, I mean, I think either way is like the same, but... Oh, shit. Well, I have not played this game very well. Yeah. Trigger resolving, huge problem. I think we hold the path. But having Teferi still in play would be nice. And just like we could have drawn a card instead if we were going to do this. But Supreme Verdict is going to cover my ass, I think. And I'm going to Snap Verdict and be very ahead. Better lucky than good. Yeah, I think Flagstone or Sacred Foundry being a Flagstones target is relevant. I do tutor it up with Flagstones. Lead the Stampede found them Llanowar Elves, Elvish Archdruid, and Nettle Sentinel. Okay, so their hand is Archdruid, Nettle Sentinel. Good to have that like exact information. I think I want to go Hero of Dominaria. Opponent asked for no Supreme Verdict last game, and we obliged. A Selfless Spirit for Elves would be really good. So the hand is Archdruid Mystery card. I'm currently planning on... Maybe we should just path the Archdruid and then let Teferi take 4, and then we have Gust up for like a... just anything they can have. Second Triumph would be better than Sacred for the first Flagstones trigger. Not for the first... I mean, the second Triumph wouldn't be better for the first Flagstones because you just have the first Triumph, right? I also think like 2 Triumphs has a cost playing 2 tap lands in your deck with 5 mana Planeswalkers, 4 mana Planeswalkers, X spells like Shark Typhoon, or I guess just Shark Typhoon. But it's not like playing 2 Triumphs doesn't have a cost, and usually your mana is really good if you just have 1 Triumph, in my experience. Guess we're doing this. We're losing Teferi, but we're gonna, I think, be in good shape. Casting Jace next turn, making a 4/4 Shark. Could second Triumph be in consideration for that Bolt land? It is in consideration. We've talked about maybe playing that instead. And I'm not sure which I'm not. I think that right now I'm still interested in testing out the Bolt land. The Bolt land has not been bad. In fact, I'd even go as far to say that it's been pretty good. But it could be a Triumph, it could be a Mystic Sanctuary, it could be many different things. Feels like game over to me. I guess my opponent doesn't know about this Gust, but feels like game over. There we go. Dual deck Sharks versus Elves. Could not be Emeria the Sky Ruin. Why not save Teferi with Shark? Tell me how I could have saved Teferi with Shark. I don't think I could have, right? Didn't want to save Tef. I blocked with my Shark token. Teferi still died. Teferi had 2 loyalty. Yeah, definitely do think it requires a lot of patience to be a streamer, but... Or they weren't all going at Teferi? If that's the case, then... The 2 1/1s were at me. Okay, I thought they were all going at Teferi. Made a mistake. Well, for whatever it's worth, they should have all been going at Teferi, so we at least like got good testing out of that. Yeah, good call, good catch. Love to draw Flagstones. Ask and ye shall receive. Receive twice. Like my Sharks versus Zombies from the other day. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, there's just a million aspiring spike dual decks and they're all Sharks versus X, or Sharks versus Y rather. Yeah, just start playing as if your opponent is always playing correctly, and if they make a mistake like that, just start playing as if they had made the right play. Don't block and save the Teferi. I think you get better play testing. If I had to quantify if I felt I was ahead or behind in this game, I would say ahead. Even if they have choke, Teferi can start untapping lands, and we can bounce the choke with Cryptic. Cycles Veil of Summer resolves. Whoops. Yeah, turn 4 Teferi with Helix. Pretty good. Pretty good. Guess we keep this and the blind on the draw. It's kind of weird to have Force of Negation and Bolts, but that's the deck, I guess. And this is a deck that Force of Negation and Bolt is good against. And we finally get to test out Nexus of Fate. Thank goodness. I'm going to be bolting my crab on my opponent's upkeep so I can Force of Negation trap. Die, crab. What if Ruin Crab had 4 toughness? That would be terrifying. So at this point, I probably let the first Archive Trap resolve. Oh, I've already cast 1 Force. If they have one. Which they don't. Our draw is definitely lined up well against our opponents. It did not seem like they had trap, so I'm going to fetch now on my turn. So if they do draw trap, they can't cast it. And then Teferi also says, you know, you can't ever cast Archive Trap, opponent. Ha 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 ha. At least, oh, they can do it for 5 mana. Should have upkeep, gave me the ability to stop a slow. Why should I? If I upkeep it, they can still draw it, right? What is upkeep doing? What does upkeep do? Yeah, I think Ashiok is fine. I'm not 100% sure that I believe that, but I think we're probably going to get to Helix it, and it doesn't stop anything here. No, trap only cares if you fetch like on your turn, or this turn. So it doesn't say in like if before your opponent shuffles. It just says if your opponent has shuffled this turn. So so if we were to draw, if they were to draw the trap and we shuffle on their upkeep, they can still cast it for 0. So we get to get this. We are kind of losing. Kind of losing. All right, so how many Snapcasters did they hit? They hit 2 Snapcasters and 1 Shark Typhoon. So we still have a decent amount of win cons left. Gotta force this one, I think. Oh no, I was supposed to draw step this Wildfire. Although if I draw a land, it ends up working out to cast the other one. But I think draw step to tap a land is more relevant. Although I get maybe getting Field of Ruin off the field is more relevant. Not sure. Not sure. Okay, we can bounce that. Can't counter it on the way down though. Right now, at least. Can't counter anything. I think we just have to bounce the Fraying Sanity. Cool. So we can't snap anything back. I'm gonna Wildfire them. Keep them honest on their basic lands. Suppose I should have left up different mana. I think I'm gonna need to force pitching Jace. Snapcaster needs to be our win con. Or maybe that's not true. Maybe we can win the game with Jace. I'm going to pitch the Jace. I might snap Wildfire their Shores. Don't hate this. 24 lands is really not a lot. You're not wrong, but we also have 4 Wildfires, which are oftentimes ramp spells. So I'm kind of counting the 4 Wildfires as having 2 ramp spells, which I think is plenty. Wait, why pitch Jace? So we have like a pretty limited amount of win conditions in the deck, and we already have 2 Snapcasters milled over, so I think that we need to get the Snapcaster beats going. That was my thought process, at least. X is the number of cards put into the graveyard, so it does stop this does count the Helix, so it's going to be doing a lot. We're going to get milled for 4 from the Fraying Sanity. Okay, they can't push again. Is my Mystic Sanctuary gone? It is. You know, this is game 1. Games 2 and 3 will have a Nexus of Fate in our deck. Not sure exactly. I'm at least excited to test it. Not sure exactly how good it is. I've seen the deck enough to just slap Demo Kozilek. I'm playing Nexus of Fate instead, Evan. I like that they can't ever surgical the Nexus, and I like that Nexus is also a card you can bring in against Uro. But I agree that you need to have something for these matchups. I think I'm just plussing. I might like bounce Snapcaster next turn. Kind of need them to have nothing. Probably Archive Trap here. Yeah, GG. Yeah, I'm not sure that Nexus is better, but we're testing it out now live for the first time. Yeah, but not sure that it's better. I think I want 3 volts, 2 Helix to deal with the crabs. I think I'm gonna cut a Remand. The alternate, you can just play an Eldrazi in your sideboard. That's the alternate. You're like never casting it though, which I don't like. Nice we get to London Mulligan the Nexus to the bottom. 1 rejection. Maybe a rejection is good. I don't hate it at least. Yeah, even the 1 reset from Titan is enough. Nexus is also like not as bad to draw. And if you just like have like a Shark in play and you're at 7 mana when you're out of cards, you are taking infinite turns with Nexus. Our opponent's not playing Lurrus, so if they actually have no creatures that can attack, we can't lose the game. Okay, I think I'm just gonna fetch and shock and then not Mystical Dispute. And I'm fetching and shocking so I can Mystical Dispute a trap. And I'm going to Helix the crab. And they didn't cast the trap, and maybe they have one, but if they have one, they've gotten us. Yeah, you can cast Kozilek. I just don't think it's very likely. But Mill is popular. It feels popular enough to like, you know, for you to play a sideboard card. They just trap in response to your fetch. No, you have to have already shuffled for trap to work. Trap does not work unless a shuffle has already occurred. Oh man, well now I really regret not disputing a crab, but triple crab I guess is hard to play around. Maybe I was supposed to play the Triome. I at least was not supposed to. I was at least supposed to. Oh shit. Okay, Wildfire is bad against crab. Whoops. That was such a punt. Golly. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Just throwing the whole game away. So, I'm not sure yet, but I think the game plan here might be just try to get up to 7 cards so we're discarding Nexus every turn. If we draw a Jace, we can do that pretty... if we draw a land for Jace, we can do that pretty easily. And it also means that we can never draw the Nexus before we have 7 lands. Interesting. So lucky that they didn't have a land drop for last turn. It's pretty good for them. We haven't milled our Nexus like even once yet. So we can bounce the orb and remand it on the way down. If we can get up to 7 lands in play before we deck ourselves, we also, kind of effectively win the game because we'll be able to Nexus in infinite turns. Pretty exciting. I'm just trying to keep it exciting by casting Wildfire in spots like that. Extra plate Cryptic Command resolves. You get to see Nexus of Fate. Can't respond to the extra plate. Kind of makes me think they drew a land though. I'm going to bolt a crab in response. Because now holding a Remand for Orb isn't relevant. Just got to get up to 7 lands. There we go. Yeah, all that matters is having 7 lands. So we've successfully accomplished that. I guess I'll get back Mystical Dispute. Or Dovin's Veto, rather. But also Helix a crab right now. But I think we just win, right? We at this point have won the game. Because there's a Nexus of Fate in our deck and we have 7 lands. Well, I get to take infinite turns with Jace eventually. I guess that's true. I guess I need to make a Shark at some point. They cannot extirpate Nexus. Nexus does not trigger. And they also couldn't anyways because we have Teferi. Maybe the presence of Teferi does make it to where Nexus is just not necessary. Or an Eldrazi is better than Nexus of Fate. That's a good point. But I also do like that we can side in. We get to side in Nexus of Fate against Uro. Well, if we ult Jace, yeah, so you're right. If we ult Jace twice, that wins. That wins. You're right. Good point. I forgot that it does win. We do not need to Jace plus here. Jace plussing isn't good yet. What if the Ancestor recall me with only Nexus in the deck? I don't believe that their recall can target a player. If it can, I am mistaken, but I don't believe that is the case. Can you side in Kozilek against Uro? I feel like it's so bad to have a 10 drop. That doesn't even like win the game 100%. It's probably close to 100%, but cool. So I'll just show them we have Nexus and that they're dead. You maybe just take infinite turns from here. I mean, certainly Nexus I think is better than an Eldrazi against the Uro decks. There's a land that will force you to draw a card that they play. Yeah, I guess that's true. We could lose to that. We're probably taking infinite turns here, but that is the card that can break this up. But we also have 4 wildfires for it. You know, if they don't just sandbag it. All right, let's play better this time. I think on the draw, we just got to kill all the crabs, right? I'm gonna bring in the 3rd Helix. Or maybe 1 rejection is better. I don't know. We've got a bunch of Force of Negations. We can bounce it with Teferi. No, we can't side out Typhoons, I think. Typhoon is like... Just getting a Shark in play feels really important to me. Although I think I'm going to put 1 back here. Yeah, if they mill you fast enough, you lose. But I think we have enough interaction that it's hard for them to mill us fast enough for us to lose. I'm gonna bolt on my turn. This gives them like 1 less opportunity to have a trap. It is nice that Teferi plays around Surgical on Ulamog. That is I think relevant. Interesting. Orb is of course good against us. Right on time. Force of Negation. Although you know Force of Negation's like, hey, if you just draw a land, you could bounce the orb and force it on the way down. Thassa's Oracle is interesting. The Stream Decker I believe is up to date. I've looked at it. It looks like the right list. It just says it's a few weeks old, but I've been updating it as I go. All right. Oh, I should not have got a tap land there. We have to Wildfire the Mikakoro at some point anyways. It doesn't seem to have Nexus in it. I thought it did. I'll look at it in a second. Does seem to not have Nexus. The second dispute is a Nexus. I'll change that in the Decker. I don't think we've milled over our Nexus yet. It's gonna be kind of nice too. It's not a very good card here. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they have an Archive Trap. They can hard cast it here. They have one. I think we just have to play Teferi though, and they don't have a trap. Them not having anything is huge for us. We get to force on the way down, and again, if we can just get to 7 lands and a Jace or a Shark in play, we win. Fetch now. Fetching, we have Teferi in play, so they can't trap us. Maybe my opponent just has Thassa's Oracles in their hand. Kind of seems like that is the case. I'm going to play Jace just to, try to get up to the lands. I didn't do anything last turn when we were tapped out. And we just need to get 7 lands in play. Awesome. So just drawing one more land should do it. Don't think it's very likely we can get decked right now. Okay. Ashiok also doesn't get Nexus, just so you guys know. Don't know that everybody knows that. They're thinking about not minusing, which is kind of interesting. They do decide to minus. Okay, if we can just find a land, we should win. Can't fetch into the damn Ashiok. But I'll hold the fetch and I guess try to attack their Ashiok with a Shark Typhoon. Because again, all that matters is getting a 7th land into play. Nothing else matters here. We have a lot of fetchable targets still in the deck. They haven't been hitting them. Remanding this. Yeah, Wildfire is weird in this matchup. So if you draw a Bolt, we get to kill Ashiok. This Teferi kills Ashiok, which again I think is all that matters. Again, get a land into play should just be the game. So let's accomplish that by Teferi minus on their Ashiok, and then fetch, and then have dispute up. I think we have a plains. Don't see a plains over here. So this should be a win, unless they have something weird. Now that we just have a Nexus of Fate in our deck, we can take infinite turns. They can't stop our Nexus. I'm assuming they can't kill our Planeswalkers, so I don't know how we can lose here. Why do we need to cast Nexus? Won't they just mill it over and over if it goes back into the deck? So if we can't advance our board state, if we can't win the game somehow with a Shark or our Planeswalker, casting Nexus over and over doesn't do anything. We have to, we can either discard it to hand size or cast it over and over again, but we have to actually win the game. Does this do anything? I think this does nothing. Just let it go. I guess they have Thassa's Oracle, but if we're taking infinite turns, Thassa's Oracle doesn't get us. We're going to deck before they do. You think Visions can target me? I guess we can read it, huh? I don't think it can. Yeah, it can't. Can't. Could read the card, though. Always an idea to read the card. Sometimes a waste of time. Didn't find the Nexus, but that's okay. Yeah, it's not as good as Ancestor Recall, because you can't target your opponent. Ashiok never... They did not target... If they targeted themselves, they targeted wrong. Oh, sorry. Never mind. You are right. Ashiok does... I got it backwards. Ashiok always exiles your opponent's graveyard, but does... can mill yourself. Sorry, I had it backwards. You were right. But we also just have Counterspell for Oracle. And I guess we'll counter the mill spells they target on themselves. But you are right, that is their game plan. They're targeting us with the Archive Trap, which I think we just want to resolve so we can just take infinite turns sooner. Though they may just be dead. What a weird matchup. Don't forget Drown in the Lock. Well, we have Teferi, so Drown in the Lock isn't a magic card. So just kind of gonna F6 check them. I'm totally fine if they pick it up. Oh boy, we win. Drew the Smashing. I didn't accidentally side out my Nexus, did I? I haven't seen it. We've seen like most of our cards. There we go. Nexus as just to take a turn effect is, I guess, also a win. with 4 power in play. Weird match. We have to vary the Fun Raveler, so nothing we do matters. Nothing they do matters. 2-0. Despite our best efforts, 2-0. 3 fairy and Nexus mana is just an instant win. Well, you need to have some way to kill them, because taking infinite turns with an empty deck is not a win. It's, you know, you just are clicking through your turns. So you need to have a Shark, a Jace, just something. Something to kill them with. Opponent revealed Luris. They could be mill. I think I'm just going to play Steam Vents on turn 1 anyway. More likely that they're like the Scourge deck or regular Prowess, or you know, maybe if they're a fan, they're playing the Delver deck I played yesterday. They could be Boggles. Could be a lot of different things. But most likely is the red-black Scourge deck right now. Yeah, it could be Madcap, in fact. Man. That was a deck we played. I feel like Nexus is like pretty fine in Modern. Nexus has been the bad guy in a lot of formats, but Modern's not one of them. They take the path, so which makes me think that they are the Scourge deck. I, of course, am not going to fetch until my opponent puts me below 20, I think. Could maybe see cycling Shark Typhoon end of turn. What is Madcap Infect? It's Infect that has the Madcap Experiment, Platinum Empyrean package in the sideboard as like a juke. We 5-0'd with it, and they didn't post the list, and okay. And that was kind of that, I guess. Yeah, let's cycle this. It's got to hit lands. Wildfire is kind of interesting. Flagstones. Okay. Let's Wildfire them. That's good if they're on Scourge, and it does seem like they're on Scourge here. Yeah, I'm also salty that it didn't get posted. I was really hoping it would. They naturally drew their swamp, so most of these lists only play 1 mountain, 1 forest. So I think that this is very likely to be all of their basics. I think I'm getting basic. The Steam Vents is already in play. I'm going to bolt their Shadow, though. And we can force mutagenic growth, which they didn't have. Helix does not kill the Scourge anymore. We can just bounce it. When am I adding Madcap to this deck? Good question. Any day now, maybe. Second Scourge as their last card would be bad, but we're in good shape if they have anything else. Oh man, I probably shouldn't have F6 through that. Probably would have forced. I tried to un-F6 there. I think we're okay. I gonna make a 1/1 shark to chump? I guess I am. We can also, I guess they have a higher life total than me. Yeah, just make a 1/1 shark. Isn't goblins just great? I do think the goblins are really good at the moment. I have been and continue to be surprised by the lack of prevalence of goblins in Modern. Is this 6 mana to flashback? If we draw Wildfire, we can, get enough blue for Flagstones. Although now we just have 9 points of burn. So we could double Helix Scourge, and I believe that kills the Scourge, but I think instead I'd rather try to kill them with burn spells. If we double Helix, we shrink this down to 3/3. So I guess we'll do that now. Maybe I should have waited for them to choose their target to attack. They can fetch to save it. I think you're right. We also get to minus Teferi next turn if they don't attack it. But I should have waited on this target. I think they also forgot to put Lurrus into their hand last turn. They've chosen to attack me, thankfully, and they can't cast Temur Battle Rage because there's a Teferi in play, and Teferi, as we all know, ravels all of the fun. That's true. They can't fetch to save it if we're at a higher life, of course. Card is, I think, going to take some time before we collectively figure out how to play against it. Just like Shadow took some time to figure out how to play against and with. So they didn't put Lurrus into their hand last turn. They can do so now. They're going to bolt Teferi. Let's force that. Good bolt. They're forgetting about Lurrus again, I'm assuming. Ding, 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 ding. I like this matchup. I think you burn them out a lot of the time. Oh, shit. Thought we had enough red. Just kill them next turn, I guess. Yeah, this deck being really popular is the main reason I'm up to 3 Helixes and just 2 bolts. Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Didn't have the mana. Awkward. Not dead if they have Cling, but they Cling, they were dead if they have Cling plus a removal spell or Cling plus TBR. This deck is also why I'm up to 2 Verdicts instead of the one I was on. Don't like Remand very much. I'm also not in love with Aether Gust in this matchup. I probably am going to bring them or have them all in. I played in Anger of the Gods last time. I think they play enough creatures for this to hit. It also can hit Scourge sometimes. I'm not 100% sure I want the Anger. I guess we play all the Gusts. But the card is not... it doesn't get their black creatures, and the black creatures are the hard cards to deal with. Maybe I'll play 1 Remand before the 4th Gust. It can be good to Remand Lurrus, good to Remand Scourge on the play. But it says they need to let the dog outside, which is totally okay. We're a very pro-dog channel. So let's maybe talk a little bit more about this card. I feel like it's been good today. I thought it could go to the face. I don't know if I would have considered it if I, had read the card correctly. But it has been good today. This hand is good. I think I'm going to put back the Snapcaster while I have nothing to snap back. Could definitely see regretting that. I feel like there's no way we can play a Blast Zone. Or we have pretty difficult mana requirements. Blast Zone just doesn't seem reasonable to me. Have I considered that Kitty Cat is the master race? I think there are good pets of all kinds. I'm definitely not a gatekeeper. I just personally enjoy dogs a lot, but there have been cats I've loved. I'm sure cats I will love in the future. Me and Esther are thinking about getting a cat. Maybe we want to get a second dog instead. We're kind of waffling a bit. Other than swapping Nice out, any advice for Blue-White Stoneblade right now? I honestly just haven't sat down and wrapped my mind around it, and I don't think I can do that for you right now. But I will definitely be working on the deck again at some point. With the increasing of this deck, should we play less Gust and more Purges? I feel like Gust is very, very important for a plethora of other matches. And I also don't think that this matchup is bad, so my answer to you right now is no, but maybe one day. I think I just want to like bounce the Shadow with Teferi and kind of make them walk into my Supreme Verdicts. Well, there's never been any guts without any glory, or any glory without any guts. This loses to a lot of things, but they only have 3 cards. I think this is good to cast here. Like, even if they bolt themselves, they lose the Swift Spear. Yeah, I think that this is fine. We could definitely lose, but it felt correct to cast the Anger there. So we're dead to TBR, which they probably leave in like 1 or 2 copies. Bumping the Knight to put us down to 9. They have 1 card left in their hand. 1 is, in fact, not 0, though. Remember Luris this time? They do remember Luris this time. So I think we go to Teferi minus and then hold up Path. We need to find a Helix, or we'll die to a burn spell at some point. I'm dead? Maybe. This flashes back for 6, though, and they didn't have a burn spell in their hand last turn. I think that people are predicting an Uro standard ban. You know, I'm not big into standard right now, but from what I understand about the format, it does not seem unlikely at all. So I don't feel like we can path the Shadow now, since that could just ramp them into Bump of the Night. Opponent's hand has Luris, Mystery card. I think I like Path Shadow on their turn, make a 3/3 Shark, and kill them if we draw a Bolt. We have a couple looks at a Bolt because of the cycles. Oh, whoops, I guess we're only attacking for 2 with the Shark. Alright, see if my opponent has 2 unknown cards. If one of them's Lightning Bolts, we're going to game 3. Any chance Blu-ray Greed's gone insane with Valakut Awakening? There's always a chance, right? At the time of making this comment, however, I don't really feel like Valakut Awakening does like that much for the deck, I suppose. I think I'm targeting my own. I don't want to necessarily thin them of lands, and they should have another land in their deck. Kind of a tense spot. But if they do go for Bump of the Night next turn, we have Remand. Swift Spear doesn't kill us by herself. Can Remand Luris if they go for Luris. Just a little short. Game 3. I like our configuration, I think. We maybe would have won if we didn't cast the Anger there. Any advice for cards with this playstyle making Mono Red Prowess matchup a little better? I'm struggling with their amount of reach there. I am of the opinion that the matchup is good. I think that maybe more experience would help you. And there are definitely lots of sideboard cards you can play. Purge, Timely Reinforcements, Core Firewalker, if you're struggling. But I have been beating mono red prowess. They definitely value their threats more than their creatures, I think is potentially one way you can lose. Is or sorry, caring more about their burn spells than their creatures, because prowess is not nearly as good at burning you out. I would play Core Firewalker over Auriok Champion in this deck, because this deck is not good at triggering Auriok Champion itself. But I guess Champion's like okay against other decks. I guess my opponent has Bobble? No. Maybe they do and they didn't want to cast it there. Timely is peak, Boomer Modern. They should only have 2 basics, so we may be able to run them out here. Ooh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so it looks like they did have the Bobble and they were holding it for Prowess trigger. They had it all along. We have 2 paths, which are both, effectively exile a creature here. They don't have a land. We are also cutting them off red mana here. Maybe they're playing a 3rd basic now, if they're really worried about these wildfires, but it doesn't look like it. We can Mystic Sanctuary back this Wildfire too, and just Stone Rain him, or we can maybe snap Wildfire next turn. I'm going to path the Swift Spear. Maybe we bounce this with Teferi. Thoughtseize. I guess I'll just path now, but don't think it matters because we have 2 paths. Gonna get Fountain, so Sanctuary comes into play untapped. No land, no land, no land. Yeah, it's a pretty risky time to only be playing 2 basics. Some of the first versions of these decks were playing 0 basics and they were Jund. And I had a good time against those decks. I don't know why I feel like we're lagging here. I think our opponent's maybe just tanking on this Thoughtseize. I feel like it may be rude to ask for a lag check here, so I'm just going to restart. Yeah, there are changes to the deck from the last time we played it. I'm playing the 3rd Helix. I'm playing this 2 Supreme Verdicts on the board. I'm playing the red Mythic double-sided land, and it's been okay. I think I like it, but I'm not 100% sure. I still want to test with it, I guess. They took the path. Kind of surprised by that. They're drawing a card. They also missed their land again, which is less than optimal. I should have minus my Teferi before I did this. Oh, whoa. Since this opens up the Wildfire to a discard spell, but it should be fine. They also don't have red mana necessarily. They're not like that unlikely to find it because they did get to cantrip. I don't think they had to take the path because I only have 1. I guess I could fetch for another white source, but I probably would have taken the snap. And maybe I would have lost for it, but do you think we're supposed to Stone Rain them? One Twitch Prime anniversary for a Prime Twitch streamer. Wonderful stream. Been good to have you around, buddy. Happy 1 year. Happy 1 year. We also have 2 Snapcasters for 2 Wildfires, which is pretty good. Well, maybe they play a Scourge here, now that they have ascended to that much mana. Aether Gust means they don't draw a land. Well, they'll just put the Soulscar Mage on the bottom, so I don't think there's any reason to Gust immediately. There's like no way they put the Mage on top. Does Bump of the Night also count as a red card? No. I guess this is just a joke, but this is a no joke stream, and no, it is not. It's a black card. It's not red. Yeah, they did put it on the bottom. Well, if this is wrong, I do not want to be right. Haven't drawn a Helix recently, I guess. Like the last 2 matches. Opponent says, what did my lands do to hurt you? And they very clearly lava spiked and bumped and denied. It's a pretty disingenuous question. How could they say that? That was fun. How good is the Tron matchup? I think pretty good. You have 4 Wildfire in the main deck. It's not a buy. I think we have to mulligan this. Opponent revealed Luris. So because I do want to play around Scourge, I think I'm going to lead on Mountain here. You know, if Scourge is their only threat and they don't have a burn spell, if we just play Mountain Island, they can't cast Scourge on turn 2. They build to 5. Is Field of Ruin too awkward in this deck? I think you can play 1 Field of Ruin instead of the red land, the red mythic land, if you want to. That can also be a Ghost Quarter. Ghost Quarter is interesting in this deck because you can Ghost Quarter your own Flagstones. Our opponent mulled to 4 as a Luris deck. Weird. It can be a Ghost Quarter. It can be a second Mystic Sanctuary. It can be a second Triome. And I don't know what's best. One of those, though. Yeah, I played Ghost Quarter on whenever I played this deck last Tuesday, I think. I thought it was fine. Is Flip Jace good? Not in a deck like this. Like one strings to playing a deck like this is like you're relatively good against cards like Fatal Push and Lightning Helix and Lightning Bolts, but playing a card like Jace like turns that strength into a weakness, and is also like we have 4 Snapcasters. I'm not really looking for a 5th copy. Opponent with a difficult mull to 4. It always feels wrong when you London mull to 4 as not Tron or Dredge, like just a fair Luris deck. Fatcaster is better than Baby Jace. Well, the 4th Shark Typhoon would be better than Fatcaster, as much as I love Fatcaster, which is Torrential Gearhold. Cody Pants, thank you for your tier 1 subscription. Love to see those new subscribers. Thank you, buddy. I'm here for my emote. Ah, yes, I remember now. 104.3A, an excellent emote to subscribe for, along with our many other excellent emotes. Luris, Scalding Tarn, mull to 4. Weird. Yeah, I don't think that you want to play it, but I think you can play it. The Torrential Gearhulk. Oh, sorry. You don't want to play Torrential Gearhulk in this deck, or maybe you want to, but it's probably not correct to do so. Do we have an oh my god it's Lightning Helix emote? No. Would that just be Randy Bueller's face? Be a pretty good emote. Is this just a regular concession, or did they cast the wrong card? We're going to see a shame concede. I keep paying these people to play against me, and I keep paying these people to lose. But I also tell them to not make it this obvious. I tell them to keep it within a reasonable doubt. I think they just meant to cast the Thoughtseize. I will say mull to 4 into a punt into your opponent, getting a Vampiric Tutor off your Thoughtseize is not winning line usually. And again, I didn't fetch again just because to play around Scourge, stay at 20 life. But now we'll play the Jace, and I think plus This is a Jace plus stream. I plus Jace every single time I play it. Just like any modal card with different modes, you should have a hard and firm rule of something you should always do every single time with it. You know, you should never cycle. You should never hardcast Shark Typhoon. You should always brainstorm with Jace. Modal cards only really have one mode, and you're definitely not hurting yourself by having these kind of mantras. All right, this was my sideboard plan last time. Yeah, always bolt the bird. Never bolt the bird against your Devoted Druid deck when you have very few answers to Devoted Druid, and your deck, you know, can pretty easily beat, you know, them playing a 3-drop on turn 2, but you're specifically cold to Devoted Druid. Always bolt the bird. Ignore the impulse to hold the bolt. Well, if you say the Kappa, the joke gets less funny, I think. Also, I haven't been streaming enough to just say, you know, poggers and Kappa in my usual vocabulary yet. Do I have a blue-red breach list updated with Sharks or Zendikar Rising stuff? I am of the opinion you shouldn't play Shark and Breach. Zendikar Rising, the blue-red land is pretty good because I still like the boil-proof, boil-with mana base, but I haven't streamed with it since Zendikar came out. What do you do with Gruul Charm? With Gruul Charm? Let me tell you in the chat what you do with Gruul Charm. Big Ben Boulevard, 3 months in a row. Hope you're having a good day today. Appreciate ya. 3 months in a row. Welcome back, buddy. Are MTGO players allowed to say poggers? I don't think so. I feel like we would instantly make it uncool. Maybe it's not cool already. It would be nice to slip a Kappa into the chat. I don't know. I kind of like... I kind of enjoy it when people, you know, fall for my bits, I guess. It's kind of my sense of humor. Yeah, Golgari Charm has seen a lot of play in different formats over the years. It once won a Pro Tour. Golgari Charm in response to your Celestian Charm to make my creature a 4/4. Hell yeah, let's keep this. This hand's beautiful. I don't think I'm going to get a basic mountain with my Tarn. I think I'll still play it. If best case scenario is our opponent just plays Scourge, and then we go to 17, and then we Helix the Swift Spear, and the Scourge dies too. I think I'm just going to get a Triome. Helix the Swift Spear on my turn. Remember when this was a Grixis stream? That feels like a distant fever dream. He looks so good. So good. I guess we can't get back up to 20 with this Helix. We can Helix the Scourge to kill it. Oh man, I haven't cast a Karn in so long, but Karn is still a card I love a lot. Give myself outs to cast Cryptic Command next turn. What's Wildfire in the main deck for? Wildfire I think is good interaction in Modern. Like there are tons of decks that care about their lands. Also lots of decks like this only play 2 basics. But Wildfire can also target your Flagstones to ramp yourself and draw a card, which is powerful. So I think we Helix the Swift Spear and then bolt the Lurrus on our turn. Save a life. Yeah, I think Karn is definitely still good. I just haven't picked it up recently. It's pretty good that our opponent's companion just like 8/2 removal spells like that. I think we're still in good shape. The red-green Karn deck was really good. Alright, I'm just going to hold up Cryptic. Not sure exactly where this Wildfire is going to go. Opponent, these decks usually play one mountain, one swamp, so one of these is going to get not a basic, but also getting an extra land is not too bad. I'll just go ahead and counter draw this. I usually do like, especially when like my opponent did nothing last turn. I like using Cryptic Command relatively aggressively. Just take my 2-for-1 against these aggro decks and move on, not sit on it forever, like you do in some matchups. When am I adding Mana Tithe to this deck? I definitely thought about Mana Tithe. I am not no Kappa, no none of that nonsense. I definitely have considered Mana Tithe. I don't know. I genuinely think the first Mana Tithe would be decent, especially with the 4 Flagstones. Oftentimes you just have that white mana untapped. But I feel like Twitch chat would yell at me too much if I played it, so I don't know if I can. Yeah, they spot. I didn't comment on this, but they hazarded themselves to get a shadow, or I'm assuming to get a shadow able to be cast. But I think this was intentional. Yeah, this is a hardcast Shark Typhoon stream for those of you who aren't usually here. I hear that you can cycle it, but I don't know why you ever would when hardcasting it's so much better. Like, you can make more sharks than just one. I think people sometimes cycle it. I never have, though. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hit my own Flagstones while I have Shark Typhoon going. Just kind of thin my deck a little bit, ramp it a little bit. Seems a little bit better than like stone raiding my opponent who can easily cast anything they draw anyways. And now we'll stone raid them. Yeah, this is a good 104.3A moment. Wildfire, really good here. It's either if it was Farseek, draw a card, and then it was Rampant Growth, draw a card, which is pretty good. Pretty good. That resolves. Yeah, Mana Tithe is better than the second Spell Snare and Shark Blade. I actually like it less than Shark Blade, where you're playing 4 paths now. I don't know. I don't hate it. What's the difference between Farseek draw versus Rampant Growth draw? Well, Farseek lets you get dual lands, which Rampant Growth doesn't. So this lets you get, any basic land you want off the growth, but then it also lets you get a dual land like Farseek does. So that's why I'm comparing it to Farseek draw rather than Rampant Growth draw, but not a big deal either way. 4-0. 4-0. It would be nice to finish the week off with a nice clean 5-0. We would be 13-2 on the day, which is a GP top 8. Although 12-3 is sometimes a GP top 8 these days. Am I playing any challenges with the deck this weekend? So I was gonna talk about that in a second. I might play one on Sunday. I'm unavailable tomorrow though, and tonight. It's got like commitments. But if the problem with on Sunday though is like we have a lot of hate for Titan. I think we'll be okay. I'm a little more scared of Titan Vial than a traditional Titan. Where was my train of thought? I'm the problem with the Sunday challenge is that I think it's like 5 or 6 a.m. my time, so it's kind of hard to wake up for, but I'll try. Lord, I'll try. I'll try all the time. They named human, so I guess we get to Bolt Azusa. It's kind of good. They only get 1 extra land drop. If they have an untapped green source, they do get to Titan. Oh, I should have gotten a basic, I think, for the Prairie stream that's in my hand. Whoops. One thing to note is Cryptic Command lock sometimes just wins game 1 against Titan. I feel like I say yo yo yo. Maybe I don't. They didn't copy Growth Chamber. So I guess they just don't have a Titan. Okay, I'm going to hold up Cryptic. I think. Do I want to just kill the growth chamber? No, I think I'm gonna go like counter vial or amulet and bounce growth chamber. We know they have cavern, so I guess we need to counter this. But if they had a Titan, they would have cast it last turn. So yeah, they still don't. We can draw step. We can draw step Wildfire their growth chamber, and then the forest they get enters sapped, but they have amulet. Okay, well, still stops them from tightening unless they have another growth chamber, which I don't think they do. They do. They don't have the Titan. Yeah. I'll kill the Grazer. We have to kill the Grazer anyways because of these Snapcasters. It's kind of funny. So if we Snapcaster Wildfire, they can still cast Titan. So I think we just leave up Snap Cryptic. So if they draw a Pact, we can counter it. If they draw a Titan, we can at least tap the Titan. Yeah, I had to kill it in response to haste. Wow. Basically had no choice there. I don't think they've been sandbagging a Titan. I think that this is the one they have. We know they have Forest, Cavern. If the one card is a Titan, good for them. Now we can double Wildfire if we want to. At least gonna cast one in their draw step. Don't see any reason really to cast another one here. Yeah, I feel like 90% of my games with Snapcaster Beat sounds about right. Maybe I was supposed to bounce Amulet last turn. I'm going to keep Stone Rain in though. I'm going to blow up, I think, the Hanowar Battlements next. Maybe I'll blow up the castle. Now they just have enough. They usually play 4 forests, so we can actually get all of them out of the deck. I think that bouncing a Snapcaster is better than bouncing Amulet. This does make us Wildfire, now. Okay, I'm going to play that instead of Snap Wildfire. No, I should Snap Wildfire. Snap Wildfire makes them need to have a bounce land, which we don't know that they have. Because I think they failed to find on the last Wildfire, right? So they had... Oh, wait. Oh, I must have misremembered. I thought they failed to find... So they can cast a Titan if they have one. We've also gotten their battlements, though. They don't usually play both. Maybe we should have forced the Explorer. I don't think so, though. I think I should have considered it for longer than I did, which was not very long. They did fail to find, but then they found on the next one. It's kind of interesting. All right, I'm going to play this now. And do I want to play this? I think I do. It's going to pay 3. We're just not casting it. They do have Cavern in their hand. We don't have a, Any more wildfires? It's possible hardcasting Typhoon is better, like Snap Helixing here and hardcasting. But this was what I was hoping for, was another Wildfire that we can Snapcaster. Feels pretty good. We've also won game 1 against Titan. We get to bring in 4 Gust and 2 Ashiok. So I know let's not count our chickens yet. I see no chickens yet, but I feel like we have a decent chance of winning this match. I don't hate the first verdict against Titan. Definitely feel like that card has merit. I haven't loved the third Force of Negation against them, but I think I'm just going to sideboard like this. Wouldn't it be 10-0, right? Yeah, we lost 3 games. Or it wouldn't be 10-5. We won the last match 2-0. Keeping this. Don't know what exactly this Wildfire is going to do, but I bet it will be good. Probably just targeting my own land. Maybe we target the turf. Although if they bounce the turf, we can't. Wow, what a great start for them. They're right now 1 land drop shy of playing a Titan. I think they have a Titan, so I'm going to try to path it. Which is, you know, not necessarily going to work, but I think this gives us the best chance of winning, and I usually like to have the best chance of winning I can. I think they have 1 land drop floating. Maybe I was supposed to yield till their beginning of combat step to try to get them to, you know, really bait them into getting the haste land. But, you know, I've played to win the game. I held up the path. They have to pay for Pact, which they can do. We can't Wildfire them off of green. They have a Dryad in play anyways. How is Confounding Conundrum versus them? Good, I think. But I'm kind of like generally low on the card. Maybe I'm supposed to Wildfire myself. I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna bounce the Zusa. They got another pact. They have to pay for a pact here. And then they can just cast a Titan again. Fuck. Okay, we're done. I tried. Gonna game 3. We get to be on the play this time. Okay, we can keep this. They mulled a 6, so, you know, a little less likely to have as good a start this game as they did last game. And even if they did, we have Gust on turn 2. Hard to have Gust for their 2-mana spell when you're on the draw. Sure. I don't hate Gusting there, but I think we can afford to not. We're just getting basic island. We have a, yeah, basic island's fine. No wear and tear? Yeah, no wear and tear. I've never liked to build my sideboards to have like just like general sideboard cards like wear and tear. Like I don't think wear and tear is really targeting anything in the metagame particularly well. Or particularly poorly, but I just don't think it's particularly good against anything right now. It's like not good against any of the top decks I'm trying to target with my limited 15 sideboard slots. think we let Relic go. And then maybe just main phase Mystic Sanctuary back Cryptic Command, because we're not going to be able to Sanctuary very effectively moving forward. However, I'm a little worried about Cavern plus Titan. You like getting red down soon for fires? Well, we just have red whenever we can just play the red whenever we draw the fires. So I don't know why we need to do it now. So if they play Amulet, no. Okay. So you're gonna leave up the ability to crack their Relic. I might just bounce the Azusa with Teferi. I think that's fine. Would like to draw an Ashiok. And we can also like just Cryptic the Azusa on the way down. We also have Force of Negation for like a Veil of Summer, so we don't need Teferi in play as badly. That's a good point, Jethro. That's a good point. I think I'm gonna Cryptic this. I just want to like get my 2-for-1 off Cryptic. We have Gust for a Titan. Or Remand. I guess I'll Remand. They're holding up Guttural Response mana, which we have Force of Negation for. That's not Esther. I would never leave Esther on red. Just my good friend Scam Likely, who I'll talk to after this. So I'll probably minus Ashiok next turn if I want to Gust the Titan, although I am also interested in... I guess the red was for the Battlements. I've just been Guttural Response a couple too many times. They're going to wait on their Titan. Fair enough. Teferi usually is pretty good against people that are sandbagging spells. Yeah, I don't know. Fran, I'm just like... I'm mostly scared of Fran yelling at me if I minus Ashiok in the spot. I think minusing is probably fine, but don't tell him I said that. I just can't have Fran yell at me. I'm not strong enough. I'm not strong enough. Well, a wonderful way to end the week. Hard cast Shark Typhoon and a 5-0. 12-3 on the day. I'm counting my chickens. Chickens, consider yourself counted. We even have the Splinter Twin combo of Shatterskull Smashing and Shark Typhoon. I think I like it. I don't know. It seemed reasonable. I'm not sold, but I'm at least going to keep it in the deck for now. Yeah, I mean, Titan doesn't even do very much because there's an Ashiok, but I think it's worth gusting and then minusing Ashiok on it. I think Remand is very important for beating Uro. Mana Leak and just other 2-mana counters that aren't Remand are so bad against Uro. I think you have to play it. It's also sometimes nice with Wildfire if you've like restricted your opponent's mana somehow. What does the flip side of the land do? It deals X damage divided among you choose among 2 creatures or planeswalkers, not players, and if X are 6 or more, it deals twice X. And it's killed 2 creatures, I think 2 or 3 times today, and it's been a land a bunch as well, and the card feels generally fine. Yeah, we could kill 2 Primeval Titans. Really, the game is in the bag. We're about to ultimate type 5 mana Teferi. Make a 5/5 Shark off of our second 5 mana Teferi. Don't stifle me, please. resolves. Opponent's just goofing around, I think. They have 4. 5-0, baby. 5-0. 13-2 on the day with Jeskai. I'm feeling good about the deck. I'm feeling good about a lot of things. 13-2. It's pretty good.